Chuck D, the legendary frontman of Public Enemy, shocked fans and political observers when he appeared at the White House earlier in the summer to announce his new role as a global music ambassador in collaboration with YouTube and the U.S. State Department, standing alongside Secretary of State Antony Blinken and YouTube's global music head, Leor Cohen. This partnership was revealed at a press conference in June. As Mint Press News journalist Alan McLeod keenly highlighted, this collaboration is not just a cultural initiative, but a strategic move directly mirroring Washington's Cold War-era efforts to use the arts as tools of political influence and regime change. Adding to the controversy is YouTube's collaboration with the U.S. State Department as part of the Global Music Diplomacy Initiative. This partnership has raised concerns about the intersection of government influence and private enterprise, particularly in the context of content moderation and censorship. Such collaborations blur the lines between private enterprise and government agendas, leading to conflicts of interest where corporate platforms prioritize government objectives over independent content moderation. Given YouTube's significant power in shaping public discourse, there are fears that this partnership could lead to increased censorship, especially if the platform is pressured to align its content policies with government interests. Historical instances have shown that government influence can lead to the suppression of dissenting voices under the guise of content moderation, raising important questions about the balance between cultural diplomacy and corporate independence. It's interesting, Chuck D went from fight the power to fight the PowerPoint in those government meetings. His new role is strikingly reminiscent of the Jazz Ambassadors Program, a Cold War initiative where the U.S. government sent jazz legends like Louis Armstrong and Dizzy Gillespie abroad to promote American culture and counter Soviet propaganda. These musicians were unwittingly part of a larger CIA operation to spread a carefully curated image of American democracy, an image that starkly contrasted with the reality of racial segregation and the McCarthyist purges happening back home. It's an uncomfortable parallel, especially considering Chuck D's past as a fierce critic of government policies and his vocal support for the Black Panthers, who were themselves targets of government suppression. Chuck D's latest remix, Fight the Power, with soft diplomacy. The historical context of Chuck D's new role cannot be ignored. McLeod's piece for Mint Press News goes deep into the parallels between today's cultural diplomacy and the covert operations of the past. Just as the CIA used artists to promote anti-communist sentiments and even to gather intelligence in the 1950s and 1960s, today's partnership between the State Department and YouTube aims to influence global perceptions through music under the guise of promoting peace. This partnership, however, raises significant concerns about the implications for free speech, particularly if YouTube's content moderation policies are influenced by government directives. The potential for jawboning, where government officials informally pressure platforms to censor content, is a significant concern, as it can undermine the platform's editorial independence and the First Amendment rights of users. Public Enemy went from rebel with a cause to ambassador with a clause. Cohen, a key figure in this partnership, has long been a controversial force in the music industry. A Jewish man with ties to the Zionist paramilitary group Haganah, Cohen has played an influential role in shaping the direction of hip-hop through his work with artists like Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, and Public Enemy itself. His position has made him a powerful gatekeeper in the industry. McLeod also points out Cohen's involvement in suppressing politically charged music, such as Lupe Fiasco's pro-Palestinian work, which raises questions about the true intentions behind this new music diplomacy initiative. The timing of this partnership is particularly telling. As the U.S. ramps up efforts in what many are calling a new Cold War against China and Russia, the use of cultural diplomacy takes on a renewed significance. Music, once a tool of rebellion, is now being used as a weapon of influence. This shift is not lost on those who see Chuck D's involvement as a betrayal of his radical roots. How does an artist who once embodied the spirit of resistance, reconciled working with the very institutions he once fought against. His new track is called Lobbying the Power. The answer, according to Chuck D, lies in his belief that the concept of the nation state is outdated and that technology, rather than governments, now holds the power. However, this justification rings hollow for those who see this partnership as a continuation of the same old tactics that Chuck D once vehemently opposed. Chuck D's most radical act now, getting through a 3-hour meeting run by his Jewish handler without coffee. If you're noticing the patterns here, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Noticing, where we dig deeper into the stories and connections that mainstream outlets overlook. As McLeod notes in his Mint Press News investigation, the U.S. government's involvement in cultural diplomacy is far from benign. The State Department's program may be presented as a peace initiative, but its historical roots lie in manipulation and control. The idea that music can be a tool for peace is as questionable today as the notion that jazz could promote freedom during the Cold War. Chuck D's partnership with the State Department and YouTube is not just a new chapter in his career. It's a significant moment in the history of cultural diplomacy that deserves scrutiny.
We are noticing.